It's equal parts visioning, thinking about what do I want my life to look like, dreaming, it's getting very yin. And then the other half is the execution and how are we actually going to get this done and creating action plans and what are the habits. And so when I talk about that concept of the time funnel, of taking your dream life and funneling that down into your dream quarter, your dream months, your dream weeks, your dream days, that we're funneling down your vision and your goals simultaneously. I am so excited to announce the 2026 Potential Planner. Now, if you're not familiar with this Potential Planner, basically I make a planner every year and it is really focused on big, high impact goal that you want to get done that is especially a big project. I get emails from people all the time giving testimonials of what they've used it for. It's so incredible. People have used it to plan around the world trips, including Antarctica. I always say including Antarctica because I think that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. People have written nonfiction books, fiction books, memoirs, multiple albums are on Spotify. People have sent me links, multiple YouTube channels. I mean, of course my own because I use this, but also there's a YouTube channel, 15,000 subscribers and growing based on using this system. Multiple like YouTube Shorts creators. So a couple things, if you would like to try out a free version of the planner, I will have that link in the description. You can test out the core of it. And then secondly, for the first 50 people who purchase it, you get 20% off. I will have the specifics in the description. So this planner comes in 3 versions. The first version is this hardcover. The second version of the planner is the iPad version. Now it contains all of the exact same prompts, all of the exact same questions as the physical version. It's just in tablet form. So I say iPad version, but it works on any tablet. It's designed to be downloaded and then imported into a note-taking app like Notability or GoodNotes, or if you have a different, I'm sure, and pretty much any note-taking app. The third version, which is kind of new to this year, kind of harkening back to the very first year, it is a vision and goal setting workbook. So I'm not calling it a planner because it's all the exact same questions as the other 2 versions. The only difference is it doesn't have the dated calendar. So it doesn't have the monthly calendar, it doesn't have the weekly calendar. So that's why I'm calling it kind of like a goal setting workbook instead of a planner. And the reason that I have a version like this is because a lot of people expressed like, hey, I would love to use your system, except for my job, I've got to use Google Calendar, or I've got to use iCalendar for my job, or I really like my calendar system that I have set up. So this version is a PDF that is meant to be used as a companion to whatever calendar you already have. And then there are instructions on how to best use a task management system. How do you use it with your calendar? What do you need to have in the calendar? What types of things? There's a video that goes into all of it. These all come with video tutorials. And so that version is a PDF, so you can use it however you like. Some people, in past years when I've had PDFs, some people will print those off and get them spiral bound, like at Office Depot. Some people will put them in binders. Some people will hole punch them, put them in happy planners. You can use it with an iPad if you want to import it into like Notability or GoodNotes. You can write on it that way. It's a vertical layout, portrait mode, as opposed to the iPad version is a horizontal landscape mode. And then the 4th version, or I might call it like I have 3.5 versions. The 4th version is a free sample that I have, which is kind of new to this year. So it is the core of the goal setting framework, which is the time funnel. So it will get you started on your first week of planning. You can take a goal, chunk it down, chunk it down, chunk it down until you get to your first week. It doesn't have the visioning questions. It doesn't have like the yin aspect. It doesn't have weekly planning or weekly review or the tracking, or it's missing a lot of what is in the planner, but it gets you started with what the core of the planner is. And do you like that core? Is it a good fit for you? Now, if you got the planner last year, this one is significantly more pages. This is over 300 pages. I love a fat planner. I absolutely love a fat planner. Now, the reason it's bigger than last year's is because while what I liked about last year's was that it was minimal, but what I felt like it was missing was deep visioning questions. There weren't like deep monthly visioning questions. There weren't deep weekly visioning questions. It felt very, I don't want to use the word sterile, but at times it felt like it was missing. And the very first year I made the planner, I used the concept of yin and yang, and I found myself wanting to return to the basic idea of that concept, which is it's equal parts visioning, thinking about what do I want my life to look like, dreaming, it's getting very yin. And then the other half is the execution and how are we actually going to get this done and creating action plans and what are the habits, and all the while trying to make it easy and funneling it down and making it easy. So what I felt like last year, I felt like it was very yang. It was very focused on the execution. But as I was going throughout the year, I was really missing like, I want to connect to the bigger vision. I want to connect to the why more. So I put them in here. Now, the reason I hadn't included all those questions last year is because in previous planners when I did that, I was like, well, this is getting to be kind of a lot. This is a lot of questions. Maybe it's overwhelming for people. And what I came to decide was I would rather the questions be there. And if I'm feeling lazy that month and I don't want to do it, I can skip it. And I would rather that be the option than I'm like feeling motivated and I like want to get connected to a bigger vision and the option isn't there. So for the sake of making it more holistic and giving people the option, there are a lot more visioning questions this year, and that is what I'm so excited about. Very regularly thinking through, like, what am I proud that I failed at? Like, I'm proud that I attempted this thing and it didn't go perfectly, but I'm proud that I attempted something new. What are amazing things that happened this week? Prompts to review your camera roll. Prompts at the yearly level, the quarterly level, the monthly level, and even the weekly level to envision your week. And I have been testing this for months and months, and I have never had a planner before where you vision every week. And so I was like, will that be a good question? I don't know. I have fallen in love with that question of visioning the week. And if you are a big picture person, you love to see the vision of things, I think it is a huge upgrade to the planner in my opinion. So when I talk about that concept of the time funnel, of taking your dream life and funneling that down into your dream quarter, your dream months, your dream weeks, your dream days, that we're funneling down your vision and your goals simultaneously, which I think is what was really missing last year. So that has been incredibly impactful. As Garrett and I have been sampling this over the last few months, that has been really one of the most beneficial parts. And the same as last year on the calendar, the monthly spread is considered the monthly messy dashboard. It goes completely into, there's detailed pages on how to use the spreads. It comes with a video to walk you through how to use the spreads, how do you use the monthly messy dashboard system, and then as well as the streamlined schedule. So that is all included. I am really, really excited about the changes. So the reason that I made this planner is because a lot of planners don't have a section for setting goals, and I'm a very goal-oriented person as well as a systems-oriented person. And planners that do have goal-setting sections, sometimes maybe at the start of the month, they'll say, okay, make a monthly goal, or maybe at the start of the week, they'll be like, set your top 3 priorities or set your top 3 goals for the week. But I have a strong philosophy that if you set weekly goals at the start of the week, it's already too late. With big goals, I think of big goals like climbing Mount Everest, where before you ever get on the mountain, you need to have a plan. I'm gonna hike this much by this day, and this much by this day, and this much by this day, and you have benchmarks. Now, when you get on the mountain, things are not gonna go according to plan. Like, the plan is not gonna work all the way. And that's why in this planner I have, which is new to this year, places to regularly reevaluate. Are you on track? Yes or no, and then do this. And it gives instructions for how to reevaluate, which is new to this year, which I think has been really needed. But if you wait to decide how much you're gonna hike that day when you get on the mountain, then it's already too late. A lot of times, if you set a weekly goal at the start of the week, it's not aligned to a bigger vision, it's not big enough, we don't have big enough scale, and sometimes it can be kind of just reactive, like, how am I feeling right now? So it's a very subtle shift, but in this planner, we set monthly goals at the start of the quarter, and we set weekly goals at the start of the month, and we set daily goals at the start of the week. Now, that's a small shift, and it's okay if you're not quite tracking with it, but that small shift changes the way you set goals. It makes you have a higher scope, you look higher, and it means that it's attached to something. You're always looking up toward the peak. Because what I always come back to is if you have a nudge, like, what if I did that thing? And it's just kind of a question in the back of your head, it's not gonna go away. It's gonna be there 5 years from now. And I think sometimes we get caught up on the result, like, or I want to be a best-selling author, but it's not really, I don't know if it's going to work, so I just don't know if I should even try. But even if the results don't come, the fact that you did it and you put it out there and you made your voice heard, and that will change you in the process. And that's what I've come to fall in love with these creative projects, is it's not so much about the result. This planner will help you get the results, certainly, like, get the results out there and get it done, but it's about the process of how it changes you as an individual, the things you learn about yourself, the things you learn about the world. It's just, you see the world so differently once you've created something, and then you want to create again, and then you want to create again, and it just creates this upward spiral. Another big change from last year is, I think in the visioning pages last year, it just seemed kind of self-evident, like, what do you want? Write it down and let's go do it. And it kind of just, it didn't really guide you through figuring out what you want and actually getting clarity on that thing. There were visioning questions, but I think it was really directed for the type of person who already knows what they want, and they just need some tangible steps on how to get it. Like, they know they want to write a book and they just need help chunking it out. this version takes that and goes further, and it also helps the people who know what they want but don't believe they can get it, and it also helps the people who don't know what they want at all. As I've coached different people and as I've gone through journeys, I've realized there are certain years where it's very easy. I know exactly what I want and I'm gonna go get it. There are some years where I have absolutely no idea what I want, especially if you're in like a transitional period of life and you don't know. And so I really wanted to make it, I really wanted to speak to those people a lot more. So in the visioning exercises, it becomes a lot more concrete. The questions are a lot more specific. There is a mindset reframe that I think has really changed everything for me personally, because I've been through kind of a period this year of not knowing what I want. And it came out of a coaching session that I had with a mentor who helped me, like, what if you think about it this way? And I think it really unlocks something. Now, this is a big book. This is like, it's not really capturing on camera, but this is like a coffee table type book. And as I was getting this printed, one year when I was getting it printed off, I was going to Office Depot and tested it out. And the person who was working there, I can't remember the exact word they used, but they were like, wow, that looks intimidating. And as I've coached people, some people have said the same thing. They're like, it's really beautiful. I love it. The questions, they seem great, perfect. But like, it just seems a little like, I just haven't started it yet. I bought it, but I just haven't started it yet. And I've heard a few people mention that. So in the how-to video that comes with this planner and in the intro section as well, I talk about just hop into the weekly planning pages. Anytime I tell people that I'm a productivity YouTuber, they always ask, what's the number one tip, the thing that changed your life? Like, what do you recommend to people? I always say weekly planning. And every time I have family or I have friends that implement weekly planning, they're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And if you get the planner, it's so much different than the previous version. This walks you through step-by-step weekly planning. It just takes 10 minutes. And so I would just start there. Just jump into weekly planning. You don't have to go through this whole time funnel if you're not at that point, because I totally get it. I'm not always at the point where I'm like, let's do yearly planning and quarterly planning and weekly planning. Just start with the weekly pages, just 10 minutes a week, just start there. Anytime I'm in a funk, like if I'm not feeling like myself and things are not going well, if I just implement weekly planning, it completely changes everything. And I don't know why, it doesn't seem like when I think about it, it's like, that's not really gonna work, right? Just weekly planning. No, it like gives meaning to your days. Like especially like sometimes if I'm like having like mental health struggles and like I'm really depressed or anxious, it like helps give structure. It's like a mental health ritual where you sit down and you say, oh, this is okay, maybe my life could look like this. And it has you sit down and you think through gratitude, which gratitude is incredibly underrated. Every time if I'm feeling down and I think like, oh, let's do gratitude, it's like, yeah, sure, that'll help. It's like eye roll, but it's the little things, really. Like you sit down with coffee, you cuddle up with a blanket, or you sit in the grass and do it outside, and it completely changes the course of my week. So a couple things, if you would like to try out a free version of the planner, I will have that link in the description. You can test out the core of it. And then secondly, for the first 50 people who purchase it, you get 20% off. I will have the specifics in the description. So start there, do it with a friend. I've heard of people having like visioning parties at the start of the new year. They sit down with a friend or they sit down with their spouse and do it. Someone gifted it to all of their adult children, which I think is so sweet. Great Christmas present if you wanna do something like that. So check it out. First 50 people get 20% off or something like that. I'll put an asterisk here, I guess, if I decide to change my mind on that. And if you're not sure about it, check out the free version. There's a link in the description where you can just check out the core. So thank you so much for watching. I'm so excited to see what you guys think. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.